We bring in our political panel, Vice President of Hamburger Gibson Creative, Kevin Walling, and former Hillary for America email director and co-founder of Run for Something, Amanda Litman. So, guys, let's start with the front runner, the former Vice President Joe Biden, because we all know he's prone to gaffes. He even has called himself a gaffe machine, but he made a pretty big gaffe this week. I want to play it and get your reaction on the other side.
We should challenge students in these schools to have advanced placement programs in these schools. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids, wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids.
So the Biden campaign released a statement saying that the vice president misspoke and immediately corrected himself during a refrain he often uses to make the point that all children deserve a fair shot. But a gaffe's a gaffe. I'll start with you, Amanda. What do you make of that?
Well, I don't think Joe Biden is a racist or meant anything other than misspeaking when he said this. That being said, I think it raises some really important questions about his stamina and his ability to speak coherently and cogently, something he demonstrated some difficulty with during the last debate. It's really worth knowing, can he, as president or as the Democratic nominee, stick it out on the campaign trail?
Kevin, do you think this is indicative of a larger problem for Biden?
Yeah, I mean, as you rightly point out at the outset of this segment, you know, the former vice president is prone to making gaffes. I was with him at his campaign launch in Philadelphia. I've been with him on the trail. He shows a lot of vigor in this campaign. Of course, he misspeaks from time to time, as the president and other candidates do. But I think he's in it for the long haul. We've got about 180 days left until the Iowa caucuses. That's a long time, but the American people, the early state voters will judge him when they see him up close and personal.
Well, and President Trump already pounced on that gaffe, and so the challenge for Biden going forward is every single statement he makes is going to be scrutinized, not just by the media and his Democratic opponents, but obviously by President Trump as well. Let's take a look at the latest polls, specifically in Iowa, because this is from Monmouth University, and Biden, this obviously was taken before he made that comment, but Biden still has a very large lead in that early voting state, 28%, Warren at 19%, Harris 11%, Sanders at 9%, and Buttigieg at 8%. Meredith, I'm curious, which candidate has really stood out to you in terms of the pitch that they have been making to voters at the Iowa State Fair? Amanda, I'm sorry.
I will say I have been impressed by Elizabeth Warren's campaign. She has committed to showing up, to building a real grassroots infrastructure. And activists and volunteers and caucus goers have said they hear from her over and over and over again. I don't think any other campaign has the kind of presence. That being said, we're a long way out from the Iowa caucuses, and anything can happen. At least 10% of folks are still undecided. A
lot can happen. Warren certainly surging in the polls. Kevin, which candidate has stood out to you?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know, the folks I talked to in Iowa and early states say that Elizabeth Warren is really building a strong grassroots network in support. I'll note that Kamala Harris, who's there at the Iowa Fair today, just got a huge endorsement in terms of a really well-known Democratic family that is with the fair, at the fair with her today. But, you know, I think as you're seeing now, Joe Biden is kind of playing catch-up with hiring folks and building a grassroots network. Cory Booker also has a strong team in Iowa. So as we know from Barack Obama's surprise win in 2008, it's all about organizing and getting folks to the polls.
Yeah, especially in a state like Iowa. Kevin and Amanda, not Melissa. Sorry about that. Thank you so much.
Kristin, have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you.